Hello. There we are.
Okay.
Abhayavaca. On.
Okay. So I'm going to talk about the paramita of Sila, ethics. And ethics is slightly different from a Buddhist context in terms of the importance of intention. So we can do an act and it might appear exactly the same on the outside, but actually if the intention behind it is different, it will make a huge difference to how that affects our future. So for example, if I give something to somebody, but I do it with the intention of maybe ingratiating myself with them, that would be quite different than if I were to give it to them just with open-handed generosity without any expectations in return. So our intentions are important, and also we talk about ethics in terms of ethics of body, speech and mind. So obviously our actions are important, how we act, how we behave in the world, but also how we communicate, our speech, and then finally also our thoughts. So our thoughts will influence our actions and speech. So we might think that our thoughts are our own business, as it were, but actually the Buddha says, what we put our mind to, that we become. If we do it often enough, it becomes a habit. So we have to just be aware of that and take responsibility for our actions of body, speech and mind. And in Buddhism we have a framework of the 5 precepts which we try to follow. And these are guidelines, they're not rules, they're guidelines of how to lead a spiritual life. And Bhante, our teacher, talks about them in a positive format. So the first is, with deeds of loving kindness, I purify my body. And the deeds part is important because it's not just, well, we're thinking about being kind, we're actually doing something, we're actually acting out in the world. And that informs all the other precepts, really. If we can be acting from a place of kindness, of loving kindness, that's going to make a huge difference. Also with open-handed generosity, I purify my body. So again, we give without expectation, we give unconditionally. And there are lots of different things we can give. Obviously we can give money to those in need, but also we can give time, we can give energy, we can give fearlessness. Actually, in this day and age, time is particularly, I think, important, that giving someone time can be a really valuable gift. And I think another thing in relation to generosity is receiving. Generosity is important. We tend to be happier giving, but find it quite difficult to receive. But actually, if we can't receive, then that kind of questions what our giving is, if it's giving from a specific place of privilege, I guess. And then with stillness, simplicity and contentment, I purify my body. And I think particularly now, contentment is really important in terms of just being content with what we have. We live in a consumerist society where the expectation is that we will continue to keep buying more and that will make us happy. But actually, if we can be content with what we have, that there isn't that need for something or somebody to make us happy, then that's a much more positive place to come from. And stillness and simplicity obviously are important too. Stillness in terms of just being content with who we are. And simplicity, just leading a more simple life. And of course these are things we particularly maybe work on in retreat. And then the fourth one is with truthful communication, I purify my speech. And again, speech, you can talk about that in terms of all communication, but actually if we're coming from a place of being truthful, of being honest, of being open, then that's going to have a huge difference than if we start to kind of slightly twisting the truth for our own benefit. We often don't maybe outright lie, but there are times where we can maybe exaggerate or play down our part in things in order to maybe make ourselves look good. So truthfulness in communication. And of course communication isn't just speech. Nowadays, particularly online and all our online activities, whether it's writing, emails, texting, all of that comes under the same heading. And then finally with mindfulness, clear and radiant. And then again, that can inform all our practice, actually. If we can be mindful, if we can be aware that we are making choices all the time, and if we can make those choices on a skillful basis rather than unskillful. And a skillful basis is coming from a place of kindness, of generosity, of wisdom, as opposed to from greed, hatred, and delusion. So that is a very brief introduction to the Paramitara of Sila.